Good afternoon, Essex County College family. Welcome to the Virtual Cafe, powered by Student Life and Activities. Today's episode, number 43, is Bullying is No Fun for Anyone. Now, you know, October is National Bullying Prevention Month, okay? We like to spend a little bit of time on this every year to talk about how to identify types of bullying when other folks are doing it, how to stop that, and maybe how to encourage people to not be bullies. So we have some experts with us today. By experts, I mean student life and activities and student government professionals. We have SGA Vice President Jessica Lopez, and we have Student Life and Activities Director Mr. Jamil Graham. How are you all doing today?
I'm doing awesome today. How you doing, Mr. Graham?
I'm doing well.
Excellent. All right, so we invite all of our students to Virtual Cafe to join the discussion. If you have something you want to share about your experiences with bullying, being bullied, being the bully, we welcome them all here. We want to learn from each other. We want to foster a discussion that promotes inclusion of everybody. And what's something that's inclusive that every one of us can do that costs no money, that literally almost costs no energy to do except for a hi and maybe a handshake, is to go up to somebody on campus, a fellow student, someone that you don't know, and make a new friend. That might be that person's only friend. That might be that person's 300th friend. But you know what? You'll probably make their day and you're going to feel good too. So one easy thing that we can all do to help stop bullying is to get out there and identify someone that is not a social butterfly, someone that is not surrounded by a swarm of people or a group of friends, someone that may seem a little lonely, and go up and introduce yourself. Say hi. Hi, I'm a fellow student at Essex. I'm a fellow human of Earth. How you doing today? Ms. Lopez, how do you feel about that?
Well, as a former person who was bullied basically my entire childhood, and I say up until I graduated from high school, I was bullied. Unfortunately, I've always been a heavyset girl. So for me, it was about my weight. I was the 12-year-old that was 180 pounds. So for me, it got to a point where people would befriend me to make fun of me. I was the fat girl in the clique. So, you know, and if knowing now, seeing now all the trials and tribulations that I had to personally go through, it's just something that I don't wish upon anybody, because at the end of the day, it it is a scar. It may not be a physical scar, but it's a scar that you walk around with for the rest of your life, because you will always have that complex of making friends and saying, okay, is this, you know, you're always going to second guess yourself and say, is this person being honest and real, because of all the experiences that I had, especially with making friends because of being bullied.
Absolutely. You know, I was bullied a lot. Believe it or not, I'm a big guy, but that's why I was bullied. I was the fat boy of my group, and I was
Mm-hmm.
bullied like crazy. And I hate to say it, because nobody here is going to believe this in the world that we live in today. But not only was I bullied for being the fat boy, but I was bullied for wearing like Venom and Deadpool T-shirts to school. I was the nerd. They were making fun of Venom and Deadpool. Here we are, 2020. Like a million years later, and
Mm-hmm.
Venom and Deadpool are, I would say, pretty popular amongst a lot of folks, right? When you guys agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sarah, do you have any story that you can share with us about maybe
Yes, I
bullying in your
do.
past? Okay, go for
And
it.
when you were talking about weight and your old hobbies, it kind of reminds me of how I was when I was bullied. I wasn't bullied for being like chubby or anything, but I was being bullied as the exact opposite, for being too skinny, and people would just bully me for that. And I was bullied for my height. People would always say like, "Oh, boys don't like tall girls," or "Oh, boys don't like girls who are just that tall." And it made me hurt my feeling, like what's wrong with me, because I never nope, you're either born with it or you're not. And I was really bullied, and I hurt my self-esteem. I tried to fit in. I was being an outgoing little girl, and people would always bully me for even drawing, and that kind of affected me. And but then when I kind of made some friends who kind of respected me a little bit and really know me and told me that you are different, but then you're strong, and I was giving my kindness to them, but it just felt like, why are you bullying me for being different? It's like, I'm just myself. I'm not hurting anyone. And it's really hard just trying to stand up, and it's like you just want to fit in.
Mr. Graham, do you have any information for our students about the different types of bullying, maybe physical bullying and cyberbullying and all that good stuff, bad stuff?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you say that, Joe, because the definition of bully by the CDC and the Department of Education is basically unwanted aggressive behavior, observed or perceived power imbalance, or repetition or high likelihood of repetition of bullying behaviors. So, there are many examples of bullying, especially in, a school setting. Of course, we know things can be physical, right? People actually pushing people around, beating people up. Emotional bullying, right? The taunting, the teasing, the making fun of. And then the cyberbullying, where we have all of this occurring in, an online platform. Um, with the internet and everything. And actually, cyberbullying is said to be on the rise, especially amongst college students, and a serious issue that's affecting college students, especially since, some students, when they get to that age, don't tend to rely on loved ones and family and things like that in those type of situations. And some basically feel isolated, especially when they're away at college, away from their family.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so in 2020, a lot of us, all of us are almost 100% virtual at this point. So cyberbullying really is um, prevalent in our culture. And I can't tell you how many, horror stories I've heard over the past few years in the news about college students and high school students receiving threats of cyberbullying, pressure from other students about things they've done, about things they've never done, and just lies and taunts being spread about them virtually, driving them to the point of suicide or drugs, or other horrible things. And it's
Mhm.
really sad that these things are stemmed from other people's poor decisions of whatever it may be. Maybe they're abused themselves, maybe they're jealous, maybe they're just evil and have nothing better to do. But other people's actions are causing people virtually to take their lives, to do horrible things to themselves. And it's not something that any of us should really be okay with. It's not something that any of us should be able to sit here and say, well, it's not my problem. So, out of sight, out of mind, I don't really care about it. When we all can do something about it. We all can take a stand against bullying. There's an entire campaign, stompoutbullying.org. And, for October, they have a lot of activities and campaign events scheduled virtually that anybody can get involved in. We'll put that website on the website. We'll put that website on this video when we have the video up. But get involved, and you don't even have to join an organization to do so. Like we were saying earlier, you can just make a friend. That's a great first step to stomping out bullying, to saying, not only am I not going to be ignorant to bullying, I'm also going to take a charge against it. Instead of making an enemy, I'm going to make a friend today. Instead of letting someone else be silent and not have any interaction with someone today, I'm going to change that for them today. I'm going to get involved. I'm going to care for somebody else besides myself today. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to share about an experience with bullying or cyberbullying?
Yeah, actually, I lost a friend. Um, her 3-year anniversary is actually coming up, and it was something that took me literally by storm and surprise. She, we're a little bit older, so we had thought that the era of bullying was, we were done with it. You know, we dealt with it in high school, we dealt with it growing up. She and I had very similar stories as far as why we were bullied and the things and experiences that we went through. And unfortunately, you know, well, it was a good thing. She got married, she had kids, and ended up moving into this very, I want to say, middle class society of women where you had to look a certain way, you had to dress a certain way. If you didn't meet their expectations, it was almost like you were out of their clique. And as she kept living there and she kept trying to become friends with these women, it was almost like the more they tried to push her out. And 3 years ago, on October the 20th, she took her life because it got to a point where the harassment, like they would put posts of her on the internet. They would write stuff on her Facebook wall, that she wasn't pretty enough to be married to her husband, that her husband could do better, that her children were ugly, that she had twins, she had a boy and a girl, and they were absolutely beautiful, blonde hair, blue-eyed children. I mean, you know, I those kids were adorable. And it just seems like this group of 5 women actually took their time away from their families to put their energy into this one woman, or when all she was trying to do was to become friends with them, because they literally lived in the same cul-de-sac. They were houses apart from each other. And I got the devastating news after the fact. I knew nothing of this, and I would talk to her every day and she wouldn't say anything to me. And I can hear it in her voice that something was wrong. And I would ask her, what's going on? Are you okay? She goes, no, I'm fine. But I can hear the ripples in her voice where she wanted to break down. And no matter how I try to ask her, it was always a situation of she never said anything. And then when I got the phone call, it was like, it made sense to me as to why she was very, very uncommunicative with me. And I was angry. I was angry because one of my childhood friends took her life because a group of women decided that she wasn't good enough to be friends with them. And we're talking about a woman who was in her mid 30s.
That's unbelievably
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous and sad. Sorry to hear
Mm-hmm.
that. Joseph Finley Schuler, did you have something you wanted to share with us?
I would like to say bullying is very unacceptable and it has a zero tolerance in it. As a first generation college student coming from a low income background, I would like to say that I was bullied throughout my childhood, elementary school, middle school, and high school. When I was a little child, I was the kind and shy type with low self esteem and no confidence. Well, as a child, I have a tendency to cry all the way throughout high school. And even when I graduated from high school, I still cry sometimes when things doesn't go my way.
Hey, no shame in that, Joseph, because I am also a Joseph that cries when I do not get my way. And I'm sure it happens to a lot of us, but it's no reason for anyone to ever pick on you.
Bullying is a way that people don't have the right to belittle and pick on and make fun of someone just to feel good about themselves for their own pleasure and amusement. Because this is zero tolerance on everywhere. A zero tolerance for drugs, a zero tolerance for guns, and there should also be a zero tolerance for bullying and harassment because it's getting out of control.
Absolutely
And one more
bully.
thing.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, I would like to give a message to all the students of Essex County College. Because society can be twisted and dysfunctional, do not take life personally. Live your life to the fullest without any worries or complaint, and live to the fullest with a happy ending. Because from my experience, I didn't know what life was all about because my family keep on encouraging me to not to feel ashamed of myself, about what I look like, about who I am, and to trust in God because He is the author and finisher of our faith. That I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. From Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. And for all students of Essex County College, whether you're a freshman, continuing student, or graduate of this academic year, focus on your studies, do not fall into procrastination, and more importantly, do not let anyone, and I mean anyone, define about what you can do and what you can't do, because this is your story. And the future is you. God bless.
God
Go
bless you,
ahead, Joseph.
Joseph.
God
Thank
bless
you,
you,
Joseph.
Joseph.
God
Thank
bless
you for
you.
that.
That was
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Joseph. That was heavy, man. That was really heavy. Mr. Graham?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on some things that I heard mentioned earlier, especially when we talk about the when Jessica was talking about posting things on a person's Facebook and things like that. And of course, that's a part of cyberbullying. They take to your social media, but we don't need to narrow our thoughts just to the social media platform. Cyberbullying can also refer to text messages, emails, even if it's an online gaming community. Bullying can take place. So, not to rule it out just because of the context or the situation that you're in. Just know that it can be pervasive.
The main point about our program today is that we're all aware that this is going to happen no matter what we do around us at all times. Okay. So stay vigilant when you we can identify bullying, but stay vigilant around you so that when you do see it happen, I would never advise you to get involved in someone else's business. But if you see someone else being picked upon, it is right to stand up for them. It is right to say something. I would never lay. I would never want you to lay your hands upon anybody or involve yourself physically with anybody, and never engage anybody that you don't know. But yeah, if you're on campus and you see someone being bullied, I would expect that anyone here and anybody that frequents our establishment would say something, would do something, would at least notify security personnel or a police of any type of violent or bullying event going down, because it is important. We do want to make it serious, and we do want to shine some awareness onto people who are bullies. It's not. We say this program is bullying is no fun for anyone because it's really no fun for anyone involved, the bullied and the bully, because you're the bullied, you're getting bullied, you're being made to feel less than you really are because of someone else's decision. Someone else is having a bad day, someone else wants to lay their burden, their stress upon you and take it out on you. Well, it's not going to be any fun for the bully either, because when other people see a bully acting like a bully, that kind of makes the rest of us want to back away. I don't really want anything to do with that person. They would treat another human like that. They would treat a fellow student like that. They would treat a teacher like that. They would treat an animal like that. Literally anybody can be bullied. And we naturally will tend to distance ourselves from these people. So just in not participating in not laughing along with a bully, not turning the other way, just by ignoring them doesn't do much. But when we visually are disgusted by the person, when we say, "Hey, I'm not a part of what you're doing there. I do not support the bullying that you're doing right now. I don't support it ever." We let them know that their behavior is bad. Okay, we don't want to reward bad behavior. We want to let them know this is not good. We're not going to tolerate this, and we are not going to certainly stand by for it. Especially at Essex County College, this is an institution with some of the strongest students I've ever seen in my entire life, even this semester. I know that everybody here is very powerful academically and very powerful in mind, and I know nobody will stand for bullying at our campus, at our institution. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to share on bullying today?
Yeah, I want to talk
Carmel,
about.
yes.
Yes. Hi.
Hi,
Um,
how are you?
How are you?
I'm good. Um, for me, I actually have experienced being bullied and being a bully. so I actually have both sides. Um, I'm from a different I'm from a different country, and I came to US around like 6 years ago or something like that. So I was born in the Philippines, um, and we were taught English there. So like obviously our mother language, and then we have English as our second language. As you can see, why I'm really good at is speaking English. The only problem is the fact that I was bullied a lot because um, I was bullied because I was deemed different and weird towards my peers and my classmates. I could not speak my language. I was not fluent in my language, even though I was born there. I could not be fluent in my own sorry, my own home language. Even though I do talk to my family in our language, it's not as fluent as you would think. And a lot of people like to pick that onto me, always saying that English this, English that. I can't. Yeah, that I was like a disgrace for to not speak our own language. And it kind of was, it made me feel some type of way. Not only that, it also a lot of people don't want to be my friend, and I don't know why. Like I really did not know why when I was a kid. I don't know why I was so left out. I don't know why people see me as a weird person. All I wanted was just a friend. So my comfort would be like children. Actually, I would take care of kids. Our school has elementary and high school all together. So like we all live in one same building. So I would always take care of the kids while the teacher is either away, or if a teacher needed a hand or anything like that, and it made me feel better. Um, but it still doesn't stop me from feeling some type of way because I was when it was just myself in my classroom, everybody was happy, everybody was talking, nobody really paid attention to me. And if we even do like group projects, right? If we do group projects, I would try to be in somebody's group, but they would always say no, and I don't even know why. They would either say, "Oh, we're too full," or we don't really need you," or something like that. So sometimes most group projects I do it myself. Um, so yeah, I was literally alone, and then it was kind of unfair to me because when I had to leave, because everybody knew that that I'm leaving Philippines, they were all coming to me saying that, "Oh, I wish that you were my friend. You're very cool. I wish you were my friend. This is kind of sad," but I couldn't stop feeling so mad because I've known them since I was first grade. Like even if some of them even during my kindergarten. So they had all these years to try to be my friend, but they said that they wanted to be my friend on the day when I leave. I've went through a lot of things, and it's pretty hard, and I really don't want this to happen to anyone. However, there was a specific part of my life where I became a bully because I wanted to have people's like approval. When like I just wanted to um, be like them, like try to be in a group with some people, try to have their approval, their attention, and I didn't, and nobody really was there to tell me that it was very wrong with me. Obviously, I look back to it. I look back at all of the stuff that I have done to them, and I feel like a sorry does not fit. Sorry does not is not enough, and I really do hope those people that I bullied are okay, that they're having a good life, and that I hope they know that I am really
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, we're here for you.
This is what this is about. It's okay. Take
Take
your
your
I'm
time,
really
time. Take your
Caramel.
time.
I'm very sorry. Obviously, some people did not forgive me, which I understand. I really understand. Some people don't forgive me. Some people do forgive me. I just hope that these people know that I've changed, like and that just because I did something bad in the past doesn't mean I'm that same person now. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you.
Bullying
Much for
is not.
sharing, Carmen. Thank you so much. It takes a lot of courage to share that and to actually identify not only being the victim but being on the other side. And I could relate to that in a lot of ways. You know, being teased as a kid, and then you know, being wanting to fit in,
Yeah.
right? But not necessarily paying attention to the fact that you may be treating people how you know you didn't like to be treated in the past.
Yeah.
And you know, it takes a lot of courage to speak up on that, and especially to apologize. And you know, that's the most that you can do
Yeah.
is to apologize, you know, sincerely, like you have. And you know, just hope that that weight can be lifted off your shoulders. And you know, just from being bullied, we know that it can have effects, you know, for years after, right? You mentioned the group projects. You know, these are things that can kind of follow us for life. And you know, that's why, you know, we need to be here for each other, you know, as a community. And you know, you heard Joseph, and that is a fact that bullying is zero tolerance on campus. And we want students to know that the resources are here. You know, you can tell a professor, you know, you can tell an administrator, you can come to student life, right? There's got to be somebody that you can tell and talk to, because you don't have to go through this. And the sad, you know, reality is that it occurs,
Mhm.
right? It still occurs. It's still occurring to some of us, right? Um, you know, but let's just be here for each other. And thank you for sharing.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
thank you, Carmel. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it. I know
Um,
that was probably one of the hardest things to do, was to say that you went from being bullied to becoming a bullier yourself
Yeah.
because you wanted someone else to feel the pain that had been brought on you.
And it's
And
kind of oh, sorry.
no, it's fine.
It's
It's
kind of
fine.
sad too because like when I was bullied and I turned into a bully, when I realized that it was terribly wrong, that's when I became a bull. Sorry, that's when I got bullied again because that's
Hmm.
when I realized that everything that I did was wrong. So it
Because of the
was like,
pain you felt?
yeah, it
Is that
because it's the thing is like now I have now the golden rule about treat people how you want to be treated.
Hmm.
mm-hmm.
After the whole bully, after me bullying people, I see myself on them. I see how I was when I was bullied as well, and I realize, you know what, this isn't right. Like what benefit do we get by inflicting pain upon others? Like it's bad. I'm not doing this anymore. And then they come in, when they realize that I don't want to be bullied, I want to change, I want to say sorry to anyone that I have if, uh, um it was bad. Obviously when they realized that I don't want to be a bully anymore, that I want to change, they bullied me. But you know what, I'm glad that I'm not a bully anymore. I'm glad that I realized what I have done. And even though I have people who does not forgive me, I'm glad that they know now that I'm not that kind of person anymore. So, so
Go
yeah.
ahead, Sarah. I know you wanted to say something before.
Yeah, sorry.
No, Carmel, listen, no need to apologize, because at the end of the day, you're getting out what you need to say. And I
Yeah,
know the burden of holding on to this can bear weight on a person,
yeah,
and especially because you were on both sides of the fences. You were bullied, you became a bullier, and then you got bullied again
yeah.
because you stopped being a bully. So
Hmm.
at the end of the day, you're carrying around all this weight of all these back and forth situations. And to be honest with you, it's a lot to bear. I can hear it in your voice. You're carrying around a load that you need to just let go, because what's going to happen is you don't want this to affect you the rest of your life. At this point, it seems that you're still learning how to deal with it, and by all means, this is what this forum is for. This is why we are here. We're here to listen, we're here to understand. No, we're not passing criticism, so don't feel like, oh, I'm going to say something and someone's going to be judgmental, because right then and there, that's being a bully. So just understand that everything that you shared with us, some way, some form, we've been through it ourselves. And at some point in our lives, we've seen it, we've heard it, we've been there. And don't ever feel that you're in this situation on your own. You're more than welcome to reach out, even if you just want to talk and say, I'm still dealing with this whole bullying situation and I'm not sure how to let go of what I'm feeling, because it can trap you.
Yeah.
It can trap you emotionally, it can trap you physically, it can trap you mentally. So that's one thing you don't want to happen, is to end up in that trap where you're not going to know how to let go of everything, that all of these emotions and feelings that you're carrying. Go ahead, Sarah.
So I want to tell you, Kamira, is that I understand where your pain is coming from, because surprisingly enough, that's how it happened to me. Like, I was being bullied, and it just affected me really deeply. And then when I was just in the fifth or fourth grade, I became a bully myself, and I hadn't known it all. I just thought, oh, it's just a game, because I did it on myself and my own pain. So I understand the feeling, like guilt, like, why did I do this? I did it for attention, to get my revenge. But revenge is not worth all of this. And if I knew that what I know now, I would have got some help or told someone. But then it just made me feel like every time I tell someone, it's always they're not gonna do anything, because sometimes the fact is some teachers or some professionals don't say tell won't just confront your problems and just be like, oh, just ignore it and get over it. It's not something you should just say, get over it. It's really hurts you mentally and emotionally, and just pains you physically. I've just been through so much pain with bullying, and some of the bullies would just call me Sarah Barra every day for no reason, and that just took a toll on me. Like, one age, I just wanted to just feel like how much pain I felt. So I understand how the feelings of you just feel so guilty, and you want to change, and it hurts, like, to try and get out of that. It's like a walking shadow, just like Jessica said, following you around and trapping you, and you feel like there's no way out. But if you see a light under the tunnel, you'll realize that it's not only you. And I'm really sorry about that.
Oftentimes, bullies are in a dark place. That's why the bullying is happening in the first place. Not saying to have sympathy for someone, but if you want to understand a bully and prevent more bullying from happening, see rule number one about making a new friend, because that new friend might be tomorrow's bully, and you never really know who that's going to be. And let's, if we can, I'd like to talk about redemption for a moment on both sides. Um, if you are a bully, your redemption's a little bit different than the redemption that someone who's been bullied may seek. Like someone, like one of our students that's been bullied, redemption for them is redemption seeing that bully have a horrible life and have horrible things happen to him. Not really. It might make you temporarily happy to see your, bad things happen to your bully, but a true redemption for someone that's been bullied is to persevere past that person's box. Sarah just mentioned about a bully, trapping you inside the, their box. That's their own box of hate and whatever emotions are going on for them, that are causing them to be a bully. And for you to persevere past that, for you to keep exceeding, keep on with your studies, on with your job, on with your family, whatever the case may be, and to let that bully see you and see you progress and see you make strides with your life that they might not be. Not only is that your redemption, but that might even inspire your bully to get their things in order and maybe turn their life around and not stop being such a bully, and they can get to the level that you're at. Now, redemption for someone who is a bully, I recommend one thing for that. There was a show many years ago called My Name is Earl. Now, if you believe in karma and, like someone said before, you want to treat others how we want to be treated, right? That's what that TV show is all about. It's about a man who was so awful to so many different walks of life, so many different people. He was horrible to them, did horrible things, stole money to get drugs, to get booze, go to jail, tons of stuff. And the show is based around him turning his life around and making a list for himself, like a pay it forward type of karmic list, where he's done so many poor and bad things in his life that he's now made this list, a redemption list, to help all of the people that he's wronged. And he can remember every single person that he's been horrible to, and he has a specific list item for every single one, sometimes multiple for the same people that he's wronged over the years. And the whole show is him going through that list one by one and spending every penny he has and all the time that he has trying to make it up to these people. Now, we don't that's a really noble effort. Not everybody that's looking for redemption that's a bully can or should do that. But paying it forward and thinking about karma and even just thinking about treating other people the way that we want to we be treated, it would be a good guide.
For me, what it comes down to is, and I'm going to piggyback off what you said, is basically just perseverance. I think that sitting here and being bullied, like I said, for such a long time, you sit here and you start believing you're bullying. You start to say, I know I did. I know I was told you're fat. So my entire life, I went into this phase of I'm fat. I'm going to be fat. I'm going to stay fat. And that's just what it's going to be. And I learned to live with it. It wasn't a health issue. It was just, I was just on the heavy side. But I think redemption for me was when I didn't really get to that point until I became an adult. I think a majority of like my teen years and even my, in my early 20s, I still had that monkey on my back where I would say, oh, I can only shop at certain stores because I'm fat. I wouldn't even and I have a sister. I love my sisters to death. Like I will do anything for my sister. We stand next to each other and we make the number 10 because that's how slim and slender she is compared to my size. So people would make fun of that. People would actually say, oh, look, like we would take pictures together and people were like, you make the number 10 because look how skinny she is. And I'm like, and it got to a point where I started telling the joke because I accepted it. Because I felt that if that's how you viewed me, sometimes when it comes to bullying, no matter what you do, you're never going to change a person's perspective of you. And until you start looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I'm not okay with this, then that's when your redemption begins. At least for me, it did, because I felt that I heard it all. I have such thick skin now that there's nothing that you can say to me where it's going to break me down the way it would have 10, 15 years ago, where the word fat, the ugly, short, I'm 5'4" and I was weighing 260 pounds. So for me, it was just like, I had all the negatives and I couldn't see the positives until I just started looking at myself and saying, I'm going to turn this around, not for anybody else, but for me. Because it got to a point where it was in my core. I started believing the hype. And it got me to a place where now I'm sitting here and I'm telling myself, you can't shop at that store because you're fat. You can't eat that because you're going to gain weight. And I started making my own personal self sick in many different ways because of what I was listening to everybody else and what they were saying to me.
I would like to thank all of our students for tuning in today for our anti-bullying program. October is National Bullying Prevention Awareness Month. We
Thank
ask,
God.
that's right, Joseph.
A final message
Okay.
To all who in this virtual meeting, the students of Essex County College, the faculty, the staff, and the administrators, and to all the people in society. Even food that society can be troubled as ever, with some people who are nice and not nice, can lead to negativity and positivity sometimes. As the children of the Most High, we need to try and understand others instead of being judgmental, no matter what the cause or circumstance is, even in the near future and next generations to come. And may God continue to bless each and every one of you in your future endeavors. God bless.
We hope that you and your family are staying safe during this time. We will catch you next time. Take care.